Hey, welcome to this presentation of our VVOB schooling. Schooling we have with a school called Gemerolos Aguilera, or JRA, situated in Santo Domingo, Ecuador. We use this schooling to build capacity for the SDGs, and in the next 15 to 20 minutes I will try to explain you which initiatives we take to emphasize this. First of all, let me introduce our school and myself. So my name is Steven Hendricks. I'm principal of Technisch Atheneum Keerbergen. We are a secondary school situated in the center of Flanders, and our school offers mainly VET and TVET education for the Flemish-speaking people. That's TSO and BSO education. So our school has about 260 students and consists of mainly boys. I think we have only 5 girls at this moment. Since a few years we became an official partner of the UNESCO School Network in Flanders, so we are an official UNESCO school, which means that we are trying to address the SDGs in every day by projects every day. And the reason why we did set up a schooling with the VVOB was that we had earlier experiences with twinning projects, but also with the Bouworde, which is another Flemish institution that makes internationalization possible. Oops. One up. Okay, so as we are an UNESCO school, we look during our daily education at the SDGs, and I think I don't need to explain the SDGs because I think most of the people will know that reference, that framework for sustainable development. It has 17 sustainable development goals ranging from no poverty, zero hunger until SDG 17, partnerships for the goals. And in fact, it's in this respect that we see the schooling also. So I think SDG 17 is the basis for the schooling, where you try to each on its own in its own local context work around quality of education. A few years ago we decided also with our school team our cornerstones, and out of that vision project we determined that sustainable innovation, respect and entrepreneurship were pillars that we were thinking were very important. When you look at the SDGs, they focus on two big fronts, in fact. So you have at one side education for sustainable development, abbreviated by ESD, or in Dutch EDO, Educatie voor Duurzame Ontwikkeling. And ESD focuses on sustainability within most of the time your own context. It's not most of the time, but as a school, most of the time you will do it that way because you have a good connection with the students and it motivates the students some more. But on the other hand, you have also the task to work with students about global citizenship, around global citizenship. Students need to be aware of what's going on in the world. So global citizenship, or GCED, and in Dutch translated it's Wereldburgerschapseducatie, so WBE. That point focuses on social relevant issues around the world, around the globe, and try to build capacity with the school team, so with the teachers and students. So with the schooling we try to achieve also well, most of the SDGs, in fact. Something about our partner school. Our partner school, as mentioned before, is Gemerolos Aguilera. It's a Spanish name, of course, and the school is situated in Santo Domingo, Ecuador. So Santo Domingo is approximately a 3-hour drive from Quito, the main capital, downhill from the mountain area, from the Andes Mountains, and is in the cloud forest region. The school has about 3,000 students, and offers only also or mainly VET curricula, so also for the Flemish people again, TSO and BSO education. And the school has specific challenges with local issues like drug abuse, a lot of drug abuse, a lot of violence, domestic violence at home, but also teenage pregnancies and so on. Initial goals we tried to set was at one hand working around sustainability. So in one project we worked with alternative fuels. We tried to make ourselves some biofuel, and afterwards when we did produce the biofuel, the ambition was to test the biofuel on our own combustion engines we had in our school. So we did this project not only with the school in Ecuador, but we involved also another school where we were working with, and that was Bea Pitsenburg from Mechelen, and they took care of the more scientific side, so the production of the biofuel, and they delivered then biofuel where we would do the tests on our combustion engines. And in fact, the same process was done in Ecuador, where the universities were producing biofuel, and they have the ambition to exchange that biofuel with the school in Ecuador. So we could in a parallel kind of way, tests, do the same projects and make the same tests, and then we could compare results about which biofuel was more interesting and how biofuel is made in Ecuador but also in Belgium, because you have a very different context. The biomass in Ecuador is not the biomass we have in Belgium. For instance, in Ecuador they use palm nuts as biomass, where in Belgium we use just waste from agricultural systems. Another focus point for the schooling was safety. Did some things about safety, but that was more limited. But more important, we would like to work around human rights and child rights, not only at the side of the South School, of course, also for our own school in the North, we as a North partner. So to address that ambition, we decided to make a cosmogolem. A cosmogolem is a 4.5 meter tall giant. It's an artwork. It's the idea is from Koen van Mechelen. He's the artist that created the idea. And well, since we had earlier relations with Koen van Mechelen, and we did build before a cosmogolem also in Zimbabwe, we suggested to build a new cosmogolem in Ecuador. That way we had in Belgium and in Ecuador the same system, the same working strategy, the same working instrument where we could build a sustainable relation with. So in this case it would be the cosmogolem. To build capacity for all the projects and all the initiatives we had in mind, we organized workshops. So we did workshops with students, we did workshops with teachers. We had a lot of discussions with also the department from environment and nature, as you can see on the left side. We visited also Ecuador. We had a physical exchange also, and to be honest, that was very crucial to really get on with the project. So here you see some pictures about when we were visiting the facilities in Ecuador, and not only the school but also the universities where we were working with in that bioethanol project. On the left side, on the right side below, you can see we had some letters from the students from Ecuador, and they were handed over afterwards when we were back in Belgium to the students of our school. And when Ecuadorians came to us, we did in fact the other way around. So here you see the teams. We organized a lot of activities when the partners were or we in Ecuador or the Ecuadorians in Belgium. So we try to build capacity by organizing events, and most of the time with a lot of people, with students, with teachers, with parents, with people from the province, from the community, from the village, and I can say that a lot of those events, they were a success because there was a lot of interest about the project and the schooling. Here in the next pictures you can see students explaining each other information about their country, about their cities, their main cities, their main products, like in Belgium chocolate, like the basic products from Ecuador also. We visited the infrastructure from each other, so here you see on the right hand side when Ecuadorians visited our school, but also when we were visiting the automotive. It's just an example, the automotive department of the JRA school. We took also the Ecuadorians to Bea Pitzenburg, where they were doing the more scientific tests and where they were doing the production of the bioethanol, and in that way we were trying to facilitate the information exchange and to enhance the project and the results. So on the bottom side, on the left, that was a presentation that was given by University of Santo Domingo. They were presenting their combustion results from the bioethanol they combusted. And then on the right hand side you see just some pictures about, well, it was not always work, but we also danced a little bit from time to time. We did some karaoke when we were in Ecuador. So, well, it was a mixture of different type of activities. We had a lot of presentations. Koen van Mechelen went to Ecuador with us. He presented the Cosmogolem to all the students. You see the principal of JRA speaking to our children, to our students. You see the students presenting the stuff about Belgium again, and also the other way around. So here, as I mentioned before, we were working around the Cosmogolem. At the same time as we did build the big giant Cosmogolem in Ecuador, we would like, of course, to have a small Cosmogolem in Belgium also, because well, such a big giant is not that easy to transport, and is, well, you have to put them somewhere fixed on a certain place. So for that reason we decided with Koen van Mechelen to build 5 mini Cosmogolems. You can see them on the right bottom side. And those mini Cosmogolems, they are well, you can circulate them through Flemish schools. So they were for us a very important thing. So we had a common well, physical mean to work on within the schooling. We organized also a day of the Cosmogolem on the premises of Koen van Mechelen, with a lot of important people that were, or interesting people that were invited, with a lot of people that could come to the presentations about the Cosmogolem and working of SDGs. Of course, every activity that we did was communicated on Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on. So it's also very important when you want to build capacity, when you try to involve more students, when you try to involve more teachers, when you try to involve people from the community, from the village, from the province, from people who are just interested in each other. This was a perfect way to let people know that, well, this was going on. When you look at internationalization, you can use a very interesting tool from Europa has Rijkevelde. They made a toolbox with 10 checkpoints. I will go through them very quickly because my time is limited. But just a suggestion, when you think about setting up an international project, you can use this toolbox and see what items you have to keep in mind. So first of all, it goes about vision. We couple, of course, vision with the SDGs and with the schooling. you need to have some strategy. Which goals do you set? With which people, who do you will involve? You need to do a lot of capacity building, so you have to involve people. You have to attract them to the project, to the initiatives that you all together agree on to take. You have to build up knowledge about internationalization in your school and also abroad. You have to build culture. You have to think about project quality. You have to think about learning results and acknowledging those learning results, and more important, also anchoring those learning results. So it's not enough to just do a project week about Ecuador. No, you have to try to make this sustainable. And well, our goal is in fact that at the end of the project, or when we have a very sustainable relationship with Ecuador, that students would eventually take spontaneously contact with each other. So that is, I think, our ambition that we have. Of course, you have to do some quality check also. I wrote it here with the PDCA cycle. I think most of the people who are doing some policy know this principle. So it's very important, if things go wrong, or if things don't go the way you think they should be, that you check and that you act on it, and you make new agreements with the partner school. And very important also is to communicate, as I mentioned in the earlier slides. The next steps that we will do with our school will be, we will try to make an educational method for the Cosmogolem, because we noticed that well, the Cosmogolem is now in place in Ecuador. There are also a lot of other Cosmogolems around the world, but the problem always is that when the Cosmogolem is standing there, well, nobody, after a few weeks or after a few months when he was inaugurated, nobody knows anymore what he's standing for, what he symbolizes, and how to work with it. So for that reason, we decided with the schools that were involved to make some kind of educational guides for teachers, teachers who have access to a Cosmogolem, and how they could work with those Cosmogolems to address, in fact, human rights and child rights, well-being, and to work around global values. The educational guide was initiated and worked out by an internship from the VVOB in our school, and that was Laura Staat. Laura Staat, she's a woman, and she was trying to go for an educational master degree, which she has at this moment. So congratulations, Laurent, this way also. And I want to thank her also for the very good job that she did. So at this moment we have the educational guide. It's ready now to test and to implement this educational guide with Cosmogolems. And the next phase is to translate the educational guide to Spanish, so that the JRA, the school in Ecuador, is it's possible for them to use it. But also in Chile there is a Cosmogolem where there is a project with, so they could use it also. All the schools that worked in the project before are involved, like JRA, like our school itself, like Bea Pitsenburg, and eventually also Koen van Mechelen, of course. So the ambition is here to work with this educational guide worldwide. To end the presentation, some thoughts about and some very interesting interesting stuff I did read in the conclusion of the master thesis of Laura Staat, where she talks about schoolings, and she thinks about schoolings and how they should work and what the dangers are within a schooling. And in the conclusion she writes, and I indicated it in red, she writes about the intercultural encounter can lead to a sort of double appreciation for both the others and one's own culture. So I think that's very important, that you to try to reach for double appreciation. It's not about educating someone else, it's about double appreciation, mutual appreciation. It's also about a celebration of diversity, You can look at how life is at the other side of the world. People from Ecuador see how life is here. Not our system is good, not their system is good, but it's just looking at things from each from its own perspective. So a celebration of diversity. And there are also possibilities and opportunities for problem-based learning strategies in which students engage in intercultural contact guided by shared goals. And in this case, those are the Sustainable Development Goals. And by doing this, you can make really a difference. And that is also my conviction that if you do schooling and you take this very seriously and you get enough people involved, it can make a difference for your school. To conclude, what a schooling is not about. A schooling is not about trying to educate the South partners or the other way around. It's not about telling them how things should work. It's not about how they should implement quality of education SDG 4. No, a schooling is about sustainable partnerships. A schooling is about global citizenship, and a schooling is about mutual respect for each other's culture, and is a mutual eye-opener. And that being said, I would like to conclude that SDG 17 is the base of all when you're trying to set up a schooling. Think about information exchange, think about trying to get on the same line, and then I'm sure that all the other SDGs, they come spontaneously on its own, because when you have the link, you need it really hard to make everything work. So that being said, I want to close my presentation. I hope you had some interesting thoughts about it, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of your very interesting morning. See you. Bye.